Dear students, in this module, I would be telling you that how to apply the McNemar test onto a real-life problem that is different from the previous one that we have taken up under the McNemar test. So the problem I have taken up is a data that was collected about satisfaction level of the use of inhaler for 25 individuals. A training about the use of inhaler is provided to the same individuals and their responses on satisfaction level after getting the training were recorded. So we would have to test that whether the satisfaction level is same after getting the training. So students, if you just observe, there is that data of pre-training and post-training. That means both of the datas are related to each other. That means it is a candidate for the McNemar test. If you just look into the categories, we can see that pre-training and post-training variables are divided into two categories, satisfied and unsatisfied. Now students, how this problem is different from that of the previous one we have taken up under the McNemar test. Students, if you just look into the marginal counts, here the value is 1. And here if you just look into this value, that is 7. So usually when these marginal totals are very much small, now we would have to observe that how much small. When we add both of the values, as you know that this is C, this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. So if we are talking about B and C, so if B plus C is less than 20, then we cannot apply the chi-square McNemar test. So students, if they are the B's and C's, as I've told you, they are small, that means B plus C that remains less than 25, so the chi-square McNemar may not be applicable. So we would have to make use of the binomial exact test. Now students, binomial exact test was later developed to tackle the problems where the B plus C, that means the sum of the two discordant pairs, remains less than 25. So students, उसके लिए एडवर्ड who was a statistician, उन्होंने एक approximation दी थी binomial की exact value find out करने के लिए, and that is being written before you. Chi-square equals to B minus C modulus minus 1 whole square divided by B plus C. So students, if we would have those kind of problems where your discordant pairs, if you just sum them up और उनका sum that remains less than 25, so आप chi-square McNemar नहीं लगाएंगे, आप ये जो modified form है chi-square McNemar की, that was proposed by Edward, so वो आप apply करेंगे. So testing procedure would remain the same. The first thing we would have to do is to construct the pair of hypotheses. That means H naught PB equal to PC, and the alternative is that they are not same. Alpha is the same as 0.05. So we are going to use this, the approximated value, the exact value. That means we are not going to use approximated value under the chi-square McNemar. Rather, हम chi-square की binomial की exact value which was proposed by Edward वो use करने जा रहे हैं students. So इसके लिए हम अपने data की calculations करेंगे. So calculations के accordingly we know that B is equal to 7, C is equal to 2. अब आपने इसको क्योंकि हमारा B was the sum was that remains less than 25, हमने sum को minus किया 1 में से और उसके बाद उसका स्केयर ले लिया, डिवाइडेड बाय 7 प्लस 1. सो इसको जब हमने सॉल्व किया इन फॉर्म ऑफ अ रेशो, सो स्टूडेंट हमें वैल्यू मिल गई 3.125, जो कि बाइनोमियल की एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू है जो कि हम इस तरह की सिचुएशंस में यूज करते हैं. नाउ द नेक्स्ट थिंग वी वुड हैव टू डू इज कि हमने जो कैलकुलेटेड वैल्यू स्टूडेंट्स निकाली है इसको हम critical value के साथ compare करेंगे so that we can infer whether to reject or accept our null hypothesis. Students, again हम use करेंगे chi-square table का. वहाँ जाके हम 0.05 के against under degrees of freedom 1 value जो देखेंगे, that value is 3.84. So this value is to be obtained from the chi-square table. अब हमारी जो value थी chi-square calculated students, that was 3.125. As our calculated value remains less than the tabulated value, so that means it does not fall into the critical region. So we will accept our null hypothesis and conclude that there is an insignificant difference between the two proportions. So students, in this module, we have learned that if the sum of our discordant pairs remains less than 25, we must not use chi-square McNemar test directly. Rather, we would have to use the value, the binomial exact value that was proposed by Edward, and using that we can find out the calculated value, and on comparing that value with the tabulated value, we can infer whether to accept or reject our null hypothesis of the comparison between the two proportions.